Today we're talking about bubbles and water. So what fun. So it's getting nicer out. The weather is beautiful. We're spending more time outside. What's more fun than bubbles and water play for children? Any ages, from babies and to school-age children, love to play outside and love to play with water. So you can buy things like what I'm playing with. I think it was like $5, which is really fun, and my daughter loves it. We also have this. We've had this for many years for my kids. It blows lots of bubbles everywhere. I want to say it was about $20. But there's so many ways to play with bubbles and water at home that you do not need to spend anything at all. We do it at the library in our programs, where we kind of find different materials and we make sensory bins, and the kids just love it and play it forever. So I'm going to show you a couple bins I made today. These are actually just under the storage tubs. I bought a 2-pack, I want to say, at a store at like Walmart or something for a few dollars, like less than $10. I put some dish soap in it, and then after the dish soap I added a pot of water. So it doesn't have to be super filled to the top. Playing in water is fine, just with a little bit in there. So there's different things you could do in the bins. So my one daughter loves baby dolls. So we have babies that are waterproof. This is a water baby, and this one's just all plastic. So you could take the babies and give them their baths. All you need is a toy for the kids don't cry, a towel to wash the babies. The kids could have lots of fun. If you have any other little seats or something like that to put them in, you can. You could clean the babies up. Then when they're done with the bath, you're going to rinse them off. And then you have to have a clean towel or blankie to wrap them in. You're going to wrap them up. The kids are going to have fun with that. Then there's like fine motor skills of using their diapers and their clothes and getting them redressed. So I thought that was a fun thing that I know my kids would always like, that I wanted to share with you. And if you have a child that's not into baby dolls, you can do things like washing trucks. So these are some trucks. You could get sponges, you could get scrubby brushes. My trucks are nice and dirty from the beach, and they could clean and scrub their trucks with some bubbly water. And then the same thing, get towels, wipe them down, shine them up. So that is one thing that would be really fun to play with. In my next bin, we love to collect rocks. They're our treasures. And sometimes when you're at the beach or something and they're wet, they're so shiny and sparkly, and you get them home, they're not that beautiful anymore. So washing rocks, putting them in, scrubbing them, doing things like taking rocks with lots of colors. Look at that difference it just made when you do that. Having kids wash rocks. So a lot of times in the nature exploring, we'll take rocks and bring them out and have kids scrub them. You can even roll them in dirt or something like that beforehand to get them really dirty. These were just happened to be from the beach the other day that I had here. But you take a rock, and it just changes so much when you put it into water. So scrubbing and cleaning rocks are really fun for kids. So mine needs to get nice and clean. Even shells. I had a couple shells in here. You could do it with shells or any other kind of natural materials. You could even do sinking and floating. Rocks sink, obviously. You could take leaves and shells and sticks and see if they sink and float. So in my next bin, and we do this all the time in Middle Country Library, we have lots of play kitchenware. Plates. At home I just had a little play spatula, some cups. So water play. So just like kids like to help out at home, you know, sorting laundry and things like that, for play, they could wash dishes, and it's a good practice for them and life skill. So washing the dishes, then you could use a rag or a towel. They could rinse them off. They could wipe them down and shine them up. If you have things like these turkey basters that I got at Dollar Tree, they could have fun. They could squirt the water. They could make more bubbles, because when you squirt it, it makes more bubbles. So washing dishes is really fun. It's good too if you think about all the fine motor skills and the gross motor skills of moving things and playing with things. This also leads to imaginative play, filling the cup and pouring it. So it's a good one. So now this mixture, I made it about a half hour ago, so unfluffed a little bit. But what it is bath bubbles and a little bit of water and food coloring. This I mixed red and blue together to make a purple, and you actually blend it and make it nice and foamy. So you could do something with these is like hide letters in them and then let the kids dig them out and make words. So I'm going to show you. how easy it is to make a nice batch of this. So I just took a big bowl, and it's I did, for my amount, I did a half a cup of water. So I have that measured out here. And whatever water amount you use, you're going to double in bubbles. So I'm going to do a half water and a cup of my bath bubbles. No certain brand, doesn't matter. So those are in there. And then I'm going to just start mixing it up. Now first you'll see it just gets like regular bubbly. You have to keep going in until you see a nice foam that develops, and then you can add some food coloring into it. I'm going to take a break for a minute. I think I'm going to make some yellow foam water. And I like to do a nice vivid color, so I put a lot of drops of my regular food coloring into it. Move that over. I think it's pretty good. It's looking nice and bubbly. I'll pour it in here on the other half of this and see. I don't know if it'll mix nice or not, but you get a nice foam. You can keep it just plain white. The nice thing about all these things, what we're doing, it's just water and bubbles, so it's really easy to clean up. So throw some waters. The kids could go in, find letters in their name. You can make the sounds of them and practice it. So, you know, it's good fun, a lot of awareness of all the letters. You can even talk about the colors if you have these, and these are just the magnets that go on your refrigerator, so if you have those around your house. But really, you could put cars in there, you put dolls in there, it could become a swimming pool, whatever they want. So that's that activity. Now I'm going to move to a different area to show you a few more things I have set up. I'm just actually doing these on my deck, so wherever you have that's like a safe spot to actually go and play. So this is a bin, a storage bin that I had, and it is water, just plain water, and I actually put some blue food coloring in it just to make it kind of cool, and we put sea animals. So I figured this was a nice activity that you could kind of have the kids use a net. This was actually a net for a couple dollars at the store where you'd bring to the beach a lot, and they could collect their sea animals, say what it is. This is a dolphin. Where does it live? You could talk about. You have other objects you could put into the water. If you have little, you know, other little fish, frogs, any kind of things that your kids like, even dinosaurs, whatever they want. So that's a little bit of like a gross motor skill using that. I know a lot of us have these tables at home or something similar, like a water table. I never really thought about it until like when I was setting this up, that you could really put bubbles in your water table to make it different. So if your kids are kind of getting bored, they could do that. My kids definitely have fun pouring, and you could say, what is a cup of this? What is it equal? Is it the same? Is it more? Oh, I have some left. So you're doing math there. You could do things, have a tea party. We have different objects we found around the house. A ball, does it sink or float? My ball, it floats. I have little diamonds that came in a beach set or a pool set. That sinks. Something like a bracelet, a little plastic bracelet, that floats. So they could do sink and floating in there within their bubbles. If they have other special favorite dolls that are like, you know, okay to go into water, little Barbies or figurines, they could play with them in there. It could be their little beach. So just different things to think of for that. Now up here, I made some sensory bags. This bag is actually, I thought it was very funny. It's frozen peas, and you just throw them in a Ziploc bag frozen and add some cool water. You try to get the air out as much as possible, and you seal it good. If you have kids that you think you don't want them to make a mess out if they're not outside, this is an indoor activity you could do too. You could actually put some masking tape over this top so you could seal it better. If you want to keep it on a table, you could actually around the edges put some masking tape also, or duct tape. But it's a nice sensory activity. It's relaxing. The kids could just kind of move things around, see how they move. This is actually really good for babies too, because maybe they're not as advanced to do some of these other activities. This is something very simple you could do with them. They can even be in their high chair and do it. This one, I kind of just rummaged in my craft supplies what I had. I found some little rubber bands, some sequins, some little pom-poms. Again, you could talk about sinking and floating and what sinks and what floats and move things around. How does it do it? Can you push it to the bottom? Does it come back up? Other things you can put in here is glitter. I've seen some people, if you have a magnet, you can put things in it that are magnetized. So you could take things like paper clips. You could take pipe cleaners, because inside of it is metal, and then you could use a magnet on the outside and actually move the items around. So things like that are cool too. Another activity good for babies and little ones is a parent could take a little bit of dish soap and water and put it in a bowl, and I really didn't measure it, I just put it in there, and this is a straw. And so you could take it and the parent could blow bubbles. And the kids can actually just pop it and play with it. It's nice, it's an easy activity. If you have older kids, they could do this themselves also. But it's pretty cool. So I thought that was something fun, and then eventually just kind of goes back down. You can pick it up. You could, if you're outside and playing in the water and beach anyway, you can put it in the hair, things like that. So that's fun. A few other items I have over here. This I actually made some ice, and I put some food coloring in them, and kids could on a hot day come outside with white paper and their ice and paint pictures. You could watch it melt, you could put it somewhere and melt it. Put some green. If you have popsicle sticks, I didn't actually have them with me at my house today. You could actually, when you do your ice, put a popsicle stick in it halfway through. But it's a nice painting with just ice and food coloring. It's almost like a watercolor. This activity here, I actually brought some of my kids' clothes out, and on my table here outside, I hung a string. So this, they could actually pretend they're washing clothes. So some bathing suits and gloves. They could wash their clothes, scrub them up. You could actually talk about some past and history of how people used to actually wash their clothes, wring them out, and then once they had them nice and done, I know I didn't actually wring this out that well, hang it on a line and let it dry. And still to this day, you will go and see people that are doing this and see their clothes out to dry, and it's a good conversation to say, oh wow, look at what they're doing. What do they not use? What do we have in our house that we actually hang our clothes up? We wash it and dry it in a dryer instead of hanging it up. So it's nice and sudsy, so they can practice a skill. And then hanging it, I usually use clothespins at the library when we do this program with kids where we hang things up. But here I didn't have them, so my husband had some of these little clips out in our garage that he uses. But you know, these are just a way to do a fine motor skill when you're clipping them and putting them up. So that's about it. If you have anything like bricks or cement or anything anywhere, these are good activities. So I know in our nature exploring we have our Buddha boards, which are on the wall as soon as you walk outside. And all it is water and a paintbrush. And you could paint the pavement, change the colors. I have two different kind of brushes. One's a sponge, one's a regular one. And then it's a science also experiment. You can watch it evaporate, so that's a lot of fun. And the other thing is chalk. We all love chalk. I think we all have it in our house. But if you actually take it and soak it in a bowl of water for even a short time, and then use it in color with it, it's a wet chalk that's actually very vivid, and it's very pretty. So I just did a couple colors here to show you. But it's really a different aspect, because you can feel it that it's softer, and it's like almost like a paste, and it's so pretty. I know sometimes we on our pavements, because we have designs on it, make designs. You could actually even tape off lines and color within there, and then pull off the tape. So that's something else that's pretty. So I hope you enjoy the activities. I hope you get outside, enjoy the nice weather. It's great for everybody to get some fresh air and to really laugh and have fun outside. And enjoy the bubble and water activities we shared. Have a good day.